Cindy, yes, it's been a short while. I know we had the opportunity of doing something similar on a different topic in October last year, but your insights were then and always have been and will continue to be hugely appreciated. And I know we've got a fair audience in the house this morning who are looking forward to this. And, we spoke a bit of time off air this morning, and the number one challenge for an SME, and not only during a pandemic, in any time, is the inability to build a customer base and boost top line sales. And, to catapult that, it's marketing, it's networking, and a couple of other things. And I know this morning is that we're going to, before we go into that, of course, I want to share some insight on yourself, Cindy, but the importance of marketing, and the big problem out there for many SMEs, especially now, is of course that shoestring budget or no budget marketing. And so it's going to be a pretty exciting interaction. I've got 5 key points here I'm going to reference to because of course it comes from the marketplace. But before I do that, I think it's important that our audience in the house this morning, who is Cindy? I know many people know you, Cindy, and I know they know your insights. They've seen our emails coming through, given insight into that, but sometimes people don't always read. So if you don't mind me, I'm just going to share with you, I'm going to refer to this short bio on yourself. Cindy single-handedly launched her business, Pro Appointments and Pro Talent, 26 years ago. And I think it's your anniversary last week.
That's
Cindy.
right.
Cindy has honed her skills as a sought-after motivational speaker, business trainer, business coach, and mentor, best-selling author, and award-winning charity head, while still running her Westville-based recruitment agencies, Pro Appointments and Pro Talent, which have won more than 20 awards over the years for business excellence. Cindy is the author of the best-selling business book, How to Be Unstoppable. Cindy has also won many awards for entrepreneurial abilities and has won the BWA Regional Achiever of the Year. So I think from that side, Cindy, you're more than qualified, and I know your passion is enormous, and we'll of course get some insight into that. But Cindy, to all our guests out there, thank you for joining us. I know many of you have been on this for quite a few times already. And just to cover a bit on Leanne's point this morning, what's so important about this platform, the first time you come onto it, you get fair value. The second time, more value. The third time, even more, because you learn how to navigate around quickly. So my urge to you is that keep coming on, because many of our delegates who have now been on quite a few times have kind of said to us, this type of networking in a virtual environment has been far more successful for them than in the physical environment. And of course, the physical environment will in time come back. But what's wrong with both, physical and virtual? And for the NSBC, of course, we will bring back some of the old with the new. And I think that combination for all of us is going to be powerful. So to all of you out there, a big welcome. And our vision this morning is if you can take something small away that can make a big difference to you and your business, then Cindy and I have achieved our goal this morning. But Cindy, I'm going to refer to you. First of all, welcome to you, Cindy.
It's so lovely to be here. Thank you very, very much for having me this morning.
Cindy, great. And I know that you have seized many opportunities over the last year. And I think that you mentioned that you've done over, I might be wrong on this, over 75 engagements on motivational speaking and other platforms. So you've been extremely busy over this time. And I think that we can say is that because of your ability to be able to seize and to think big and, of course, to remain positive and resilient, you've grown enormously over the past year. So I must say to you, we followed you, I followed you, a very, very big well done on that.
Thanks, Mark. And I really think it's often not really the external circumstances, but how you choose to react and respond to them that's going to make or break your success. You know, obviously, I know some businesses have been incredibly badly hit, but I do believe that a lot of our success going forward is actually up to us. So yes, I've got some exciting tips to share.
Absolutely, Cindy. And you know what we always say, you know, when the pandemic arrived into the world, some businesses were more affected, like in the hospitality and tourism sectors. But you know, these people in those sectors and who've lost, these are resilient, mercurial, positive people, and it's out of their control. in some of these businesses. But what they've chosen to do is stand up, be positive, and be determined to come out of this stronger. And our function at the NSBC on the COVID-19 Relief and Recovery Center is for those business owners out there who've struggled and who are really in the balance. It is our complete mission to help them to come back, because these are job creators. These people have the ability to employ others. These are the people in our society who will alleviate unemployment and drive job creation. Just because they were in that type of business that had enormous pressure on because of the pandemic, no matter what they could have done, they couldn't have done more. But these people will come back, and that's our mission for them to come back and do what they've done again and do even more. But Cindy, marketing is a big word. It's my passion in life. Selling and marketing is a powerful combination. But I've got some questions coming in from the industry, and if you don't mind me, I'm just going to refer, because I don't want to get any words here. So Cindy, we've got 5 big questions this morning, and your insights here, I know, are going to be hugely appreciated by SME South Africa. First of all, Cindy, we are living in a time where many business owners need to market their businesses, but they don't have the budget to use traditional, expensive methods. What do you recommend that they do?
Mike, I was coaching a lady last week, and she was talking to me about should she invest probably up to about 20,000 Rand in radio advertising. And, coming off a time where her business hasn't been very profitable, I was chatting to her about the power of guerrilla marketing. And it's an old term. I think it could even be from the 80s. But I think now's the time for it. Guerrilla marketing is really, it's not about using money, but it's about using what you've got in your head, heart, and hands. So it's using your time and your energy to grow and market your business. And I think now is the best time to do this. Mark, they always say in a recession, the most important skills you need are your sales and marketing skills, because you need to stand out from the rest. And I think what many of us have seen, and myself included, literally a year ago today, it was the lockdown, and my recruitment company works on pipelines, like many of the companies here. And we went from having about 106 job orders to literally 5 within 2 days. We had lost our momentum, we'd lost our pipeline. And then I remember we were locked down for 5 weeks, and 1st of May, we returned to the office a little bit war-weary. And what we realized is our clients had gone underground. So as much as we were showing up and ready, nobody was around. Nobody was able to answer calls. We couldn't go out and do the things that we used to do. Now, what I realized in this time is, there's this wonderful saying. It says, if the rate of change outside your organization is greater than the rate of change inside, you're doomed to extinction. And I think where a lot of business owners and salespeople have gone wrong is their strategy has been to hope and wait, basically saying, when things go back to normal, when things calm down, I will go and see my clients again. I will do networking. And I love what the NSBC has done with this online networking. I think it's a perfect example of adapting, pivoting, and actually adding something that's even more valuable. There's no traveling, there's less cost. It is absolutely brilliant. So I think what we need to do is look at what can I do to connect with clients? What can I do to create top of mind awareness? So I just wanted to share with you a few little tips about it, and hopefully that each person can say, I've got at least 5, 6, 7, 8 ideas that I think I can implement, and that works for me. It works for my clients. It works for my business and my industry. So I think the one thing a lot of us want to do in desperate times is spray and pray. I want to tell everybody, everyone's my customer. Even if you own a KFC, not everyone is your customer. You might find people that go, we can't afford it. You might find people that go, we're actually quite health conscious and we can't eat fried chicken. You might find these vegetarians, so there's, it's so easy to say, well, I'm going to put all my efforts everywhere. I think in these difficult and challenging times, we need to be more of a sniper. We need to be very, very clear who our target market is, so we don't waste time and energy and resources. I think that's the first thing. For me, I think there's a couple of elements I want to touch on today. The first thing is branding, like having a good brand for yourself as well as your business. The other thing is working on your network and on your business relationships. And then the other one that I want to chat to you about is social media. It's free. I remember when I started my business 27 years ago, there was no free marketing. So we had to do it a lot through knocking on doors, which we can't even really do now that easily with the COVID pandemic. But I just think there are so many different elements. And then, where people seem to have gone wrong as well. I've noticed so many companies have dropped their game. Literally, their standards have dropped, their customer service and their quality. So, I know we think this is marketing, but what's the point of spending so much time and effort marketing when you are losing clients because our attention to detail has dropped? So I know many, many businesses that can't deliver the same service or product that they used to, but they haven't actually added anything to it. All they've done is they've kept the price the same, offering less, and I think customers are getting upset. So I think the whole question we've got to ask ourselves is, as part of our marketing strategy, am I really adding value? And am I adding extra value? Many of us in difficult times think, okay, maybe we should just be cheaper. But I don't think it's about necessarily dropping prices. It's more about what extra value can I add? What are the extra little elements I can add in? Now with marketing, the problem is we all know the statistic, 50% of your marketing works. The problem is we don't know which 50%. And I think what we need to do is work on having multiple pronged strategies. And I know from coaching a lot of business owners, most business owners only have one or two strategies. It's a telesale, it's an email newsletter, and then they're stuck. I love this suggestion of having 10 lead sources. So a question I'd say to each person is, if you were to do an audit of your marketing efforts, do you have at least 10 different ways in which people can contact you? I think that's really, really important. 10 different strategies that you're implementing at any one time. So when we got back to our office on the 1st of May last year, we had to sit down and go, okay, what are we doing? We felt like we were literally leopard crawling through razor wire. We started with the telesales, the care and compassion calls. I know a lot of people did that, but you know what's happened? They've stopped. And I know a lot of people have said, well, I can't get hold of my clients. Get their cell numbers, contact them. You're not bugging them. You're not there to sell. You're there to connect. How are you doing? Listen, follow up, add value. I was thinking about you this morning and I thought I'd phone you because I'd like to find out if you'd like to hear more about this, or if I can help you with this, or I thought of something and I thought I'd share it with you. People don't mind those calls, but they don't like those calls. Do you need X? I think we're beyond that. So there's so many different things we have to do, but sometimes we forget, why do we market? In each person's mind, for each category, there's a ladder, a psychological ladder. Now imagine if you're a courier business and somebody's thinking, I need to courier stuff from Johannesburg to Durban. And they think, let me think of a courier company. If you're not in the top 1 or 2 or possibly 3, you have absolutely no hope of getting the business. So for each of our customers, there's a race to the top of their mind. But the problem is there's a war for attention. If you think about it, every day, everyone's trying to sell to us on the radio, TV, driving along, there's billboards. So we need to think, how do I get to the top of my client's mind in terms of their ladder of the mind without spending all this money that I don't have? So it's about having a little bit of a strategy. I would say have a strategy for the next 3 months. You don't have to think 5 years ahead. We've forgotten all those 5-year plans. Hey, Mike, nobody's doing that anymore. We're just trying to get through months and weeks, and I think that's important. There's also a saying that the present sales you've got now are the result of what you did 3 months ago. Many people 3 months ago were having a holiday, Christmas and chilling, and I think we need to start being very, very intentional about our marketing every day, asking yourself, is what I'm doing today going to push the lever? Is it going to take me closer to my goals of growing my business? Not just surviving, but actually thriving as well, having a profitable concern. And I think so often in business, we let ourselves off the hook. And you know what many people have started doing? Because they can't see clients face to face, they're doing the phone calls. Or because the phone calls are hard, they're using email. Email is one of the least effective forms of communication. So we've got to find out ways in which we can connect with clients and add extra value to them so that they're constantly thinking of us in a favorable and positive manner. So it's really, really quite an important strategy. So for me, I think it's just about having a little plan of all the different elements that you're going to put in. And we need to change our approach. The approach we had 12, 13 months ago has to have adapted. So here's a couple of guidelines I'd like to share with you that we are implementing in my recruitment company. The first thing is trying to do 5 calls by 9. Now, I know a lot of people are going, oh, it's impossible, but it's impossible if you don't pick up the phone. So pick up the phone. Who are you going to connect with? Have a strategy. Start with your top clients. You know that Pareto's principle. 80% of your money in your business comes from 20% of your clients. There's a thing called the 90-day rule. Never let more than 90 days go by between each contact with your clients. How often do you phone a client and they go, hello, stranger? That is the worst insult anyone can pay you. You should never be a stranger. And we can't be using COVID as a reason why we are isolated. If we are looking for business, we need to pick up the phone. I once coached a business owner and he said, you know, I don't know what's wrong with my clients. They used to phone me all the time. They never phone me anymore. We need to phone our clients. It's not up to them to call us. And then when we're phoning, it's not straight for the jugular. Do you have the sale? Connect, relationship, warmth. Remember, if somebody's picking up the phone, what's in it for them? With them, what's in it for me? So it's not, I need a sales. How are you? How can I help you? My business has got something that can add value to you, or, you know, something that's going to make your life easier. I think that's important. Little things like remembering a client's birthday, happy birthday, phoning them, you know, dropping off a little something. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, it's COVID, we can't go into the offices. And I know some companies don't allow visitors. But how difficult is it to just do lumpy mail? You know, just drop off even at the reception or find the address, even if you get a courier, net florist, it doesn't matter, to do a little something. I'll give you an example. This week was our company's actually 27th birthday. And what we did is we contacted clients in advance and we just dropped off little beautiful glass jars of succulents, some fresh cupcakes with our logo emblazoned on the top in icing. We dropped off jars of biscotti, very, very low budget items. And just to connect with clients to say, you know, it's been a year, we haven't seen you, but we just want to, and you know what clients did? We were there masked, and clients would meet us at reception or in the parking lot. And guess what? They would end up having a chat through their masks as well. But that face-to-face is valuable, and many of our clients are actually desperate for it as well. I know some of my consultants are saying to a client, if you're happy, we're happy to meet you at an outdoor coffee shop. We'll treat you to a coffee and cake. It's not expensive. It's not expensive at all. So, and even this opportunity here, you know how many people would come online just to hear the speaker, but they're not connecting. And remember, the big thing about networking as well is only 5% of what we actually promise happens. So make sure you're that person who says, I'll email you, I'll contact you, and then you do it. Because then you stand out. Remember, top of mind, you stand out as being a person of your word. So we've been running around visiting our clients, trying to connect, trying to add value. We're really, really trying to help them in any way we can. At the start of the lockdown, I wrote an article on what I'd be doing in my 21 days of lockdown. And I shared it with all my clients. Mark shared it with the NSBC members. So I started writing some articles. I started doing webinars. I know so many people who are saying, you know, I don't really understand how Zoom works or team works. So I'm not going to do that stuff because, you know what, because I'd rather wait until person. What if you're waiting for another 2 years? Can your business withstand that? Can you sustain yourself without using every single tool in your toolbox? So how many webinars are you offering? So not only myself, but each one of my staff members are doing a webinar. A lot of the times they're connecting with a client who's well connected. So we're connecting with their database as well. And it's never selling, it's always education marketing. You, each one of you on this call, can speak on something for an hour. You can add value. So what is it that you can add value to? How can you be unique and different and inspiring? The other thing we've done is, you know, emailing an article we've read, something that was inspiring, not our work, but somebody else. Send it, personalize it. Dear John, dear Mark, here we go. And it's amazing how many clients go, thank you, I've shared it with my team. Thank you very much for thinking of me. And I think that's important. I head up a charity foundation. You know how many people have started getting involved in charities? The funny thing about that is when you do, you start growing your network, even though that's not the intention. You get out, you get perspective, and you start sort of seeing the world from a different lens. another thing that I've done is I've chosen to become the self-appointed industry spokesperson. I often send information to our local radio station. I send information to various bodies, and they quote me as the industry spokesperson. If you aren't, somebody else will be. So why don't you put your hand up and put yourself out there? As I said, writing blog articles, asking other people if you can put your articles on their websites, and then making sure that your articles have keywords in them so that you boost your SEO rankings. I think that's so important. Sending an email every month to clients with something of value, not selling, but this is what I can do to help you. One theme per email. What we do is we try and put 400 ideas into a newsletter, and we just bombard people and overwhelm them, and they push delete. But remember, if you are just relying on email marketing, you're lucky if 15% of them are read. So you might say, oh, I've got a database, 300 clients, I've sent it out. If you're lucky, 45 people opened that email. So we can't rely on emails. We can't rely on the passive marketing that we were doing. I think it's really, really important to find out who your raving fans and referrers are and thank them. Give them a gift, take them out for a coffee, drop off something. But thank you for always referring me. I appreciate it, because a referral is gold. It's not you telling the world you're great. It's somebody who's telling their trusted network that you're great. Those people, we need to cherish them. And then another element is adding extra value. So my company, as a recruitment company, there's not much to differentiate one business from another. But what we did is we offered a lockdown special. So we said, you know what, you can pay fees over 3 months. What about extending your guarantee? To say to clients, you've got a 6-month guarantee or 1 year, we're going to make it slightly more. Not dropping your price, or saying, when you buy this, you get that as well. And I think people are looking to get more bang for their buck, stretch each rand that they spend. Silly things like a loyalty scheme. Some people love loyalty schemes. I'm part of the club, or I'm seen as a top client. I get preferential treatment, the platinum member of the company or platinum client. I think there's a lot to be said for people feeling like they're getting extra and added benefits to being a loyal supporter of your business. Things that we do every year, desk pads and calendars, they sit there for 365 days. And then, I know this sounds humble, that there's nothing wrong with a pen, a corporate pen. If your business is not buying thousands of pens every year, and wherever you go, your pen goes to people, drop them off. We literally shower the world with pens. It's a simple thing that we do. And then having a really nice email brochure. Right now, everybody's going online. Have you looked at your website? Is there this beautiful golden thread going through that everything's connected? Your email looks like this, your signature looks like this, your website looks like that, and everything just looks like the right colors, the right look, the right style. This is the time to be getting out there. And then we need every day. We can't have a day going by to say, oh, I didn't feel like connecting with clients. I love that saying, Mark, that you've got to be bold because timid salesmen have skinny kids. I mean, we want fat kids. We want to have abundance. We don't want to be sitting there going, I can't believe it. Things are so quiet. Often things are quiet because we're not doing the work. We're not doing the actions, and we're not doing the activities. So if ever I'm coaching someone in business and they're in sales and marketing, I look at their activities. And here's the thing. So many of us are using COVID as an excuse. The real true reason we're not successful is we've actually stopped doing the work. We've stopped doing enough of the work. So sometimes we do a little bit of telesales, a little bit of email marketing, a little bit of added value, but we actually aren't doing nearly enough. And that's why our competitors are getting ahead of us, because they've actually embraced the fact that activity is really the golden key in sales and marketing. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, Cindy, you touched on online presence, and we often get the question coming through, I'm a small business, how can I compete with big business? And if you've got a professional website, you've got a nice email signature, nicely designed, you've got a nice header on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on your Facebook, that can allow you to compete with any business. And what's nice about doing that, it's a tiny expense, but it's a huge investment into your business to create a world-class online presence. So, our big plea to SMEs out there is it's an absolute priority to really professionalize your online presence in combination of what you're doing and what Cindy is talking about. So thank you for that, Cindy. Huge insights. Cindy, you're a big believer in business people building their own personal brand. How do they do this on a budget, and why will it help them be more successful?
So, Mike, I've been involved in selling a service for 27 years now. And, the thing is with the service, nobody can really see it. It's intangible. So essentially, if you're selling a product like a vacuum cleaner, people can see it. They know it's a good product or not. They can get a warranty. When it's a service, you start selling trust. You start selling yourself. So a lot of people don't really see that. They think, well, I don't have to worry about my own brand because I work for a great brand. My company is well known in the market. But what if you leave? Wouldn't it be great to start doing it the other way around, building your own personal brand so that people want to deal with you no matter what you sell? Because say one day you decide, I'm tired of selling vacuum cleaners. I want to sell cleaning services. I want to sell something else. People will start remembering you, and your name and the value you add. So the thing about branding is that it needs to be an intentional exercise. Your brand has to be consistent and congruent. And I love that saying. It says it's you don't have a brand, you are a brand. So people will describe you in certain words. Now you might say, but I think I am this and this and this. But it's not what you think. It's what people tell their friends about you when you're not in the room. So how do you make people feel? How do you deliver? What did you deliver? And the funny thing about your brand is people will judge you by the small things. So it could be even the way you write on this call here. If you put 5 spelling mistakes in your sentence, people might say, gosh, that person's unprofessional. It's crazy, but people will judge you. I've gone to visit clients before and my car's been dirty and I thought, please don't come near my car because I don't want them to judge me by my untidy car. You send an email to a client and you put the wrong name in, you do the wrong attachment. It's all those little things. It's every little single point of contact that you have with people. It's your clothing. It's everything that you deliver. So I think for a lot of people, they've been unintentional about their brand, and as a result, it's flaky. I also think it's important that it's consistent, so that if I see you on Monday at work, you look like this, and you act like this. Wednesday night at a pub, you like this, and Sunday at church, that people wouldn't go, are those 3 different people? We need to put our best foot forward, but these are essentially our top 5 values that we're trying to put out there to the world, so that people start knowing that they can trust us. And I think it's super, super important that we do that all the time. And then I think, we can't, it is about consistency. So delivering all the time, behaving in a certain way all the time, I think is so, so important. So I think if you look at your brand, ask yourself, what is the general standard in my industry? And how can I be 10% better? So how can I just do that little extra, but keep it up all the time? And that's when people start noticing you, because you're differentiating yourself. You're standing out there in the industry, and obviously understanding your USP, your unique selling point. Why should people buy from you? Why should they buy your service and your product? And why should they buy from you? What do you bring that other people don't? Are you the friendliest? Are you the fastest? Are you the most responsive? Are you the most knowledgeable? Are you the most credible, the most competent? I think it's important that we know those things about us. These are things that don't cost money. It's just about being intentional about it and saying, I'm actually going to hang my hat on that. And that's my promise to the world. Too many people in businesses are not prepared to make promises and stick to them because they know how hard it is to deliver. But I think the people who are going to thrive through these challenging times are those that say, you know what, I'm going to step up. I'm going to make insane promises, but promises that I'm going to keep. And I'll give you an example. I was talking to a PR lady the other day, and she said, if you use my PR company, you pay my fee, right? But if I do not get you any PR in that month, you don't pay a cent. And I think that's fantastic. So it's not just about, so they're putting their money where their mouth is. And I think that's fantastic. I also think it's important that we try and develop an aspirational brand. We don't want to be a generic. I mean, if you think about when you go to the pharmacy and they say, do you want that or do you want the generic? You know the generic is cheaper. But the point is, often we think, oh, is it as good? You want people to think that they're dealing with somebody who's, fairly high end, who's reputable, who's trustworthy. And I think it's important who you hang around with, which other brands you associate with as well. And just on that note, I think an important thing is live in such a way that if anyone spoke badly about you, no one would believe them. What a cool way to live. What a cool way to deliver on business. And I think that needs to be, I think we need to be looking at our brands and going, how do I do better? How can I be better? And how can I deliver better? Because I want to stand out in the market. And remember, we don't want to jump from one job to the next or one business to the next. The secret of great businesses is longevity. So I think it's so important to be intentional and clear on your brand. And if you've got a team of staff working on what's our company brand, what's your personal brand, and is the alignment, that's so, so important.
Yeah, Cindy, that's super insightful, and I think that a lot of people don't put enough effort into that aspect, and it doesn't cost you to do that. So great insight. Thank you for that. Cindy, I'm going to pose one more question to you because I know we're going to get back to some networking. I can have this conversation for another few hours, but we'll leave that for another time. You've got things to do. But Cindy, just one last insight. How do you suggest people use social media to market their business during this time?
Mike, I think I know a lot of people who are trying to dabble in social media. So they're on 5 different platforms. They're trying to do the odd tweet here and Instagram and Pinterest, and they're getting lost in the mix. So my thinking would be if people could look at 1 or 2 platforms that they can really dominate and understand and really focus on well, so that people start seeing a continuous, regular input from them, and I think an important thing when we do posting about our business, it's not just about, oh, this is us. Why would people be interested in it? Firstly, is it the one thing people don't want is boring? If it's just bland and boring, people aren't going to notice us. Remember, there's a war for attention. So we want to be able to say, how does this add to the world? How will this benefit the people, not just me, but it could be something inspiring. It could be something you're offering to people. But we also don't want to just see sales, like special on our chairs, special on, people start going, oh my gosh, and they actually don't take notice. They don't take interest. So I would say nothing offensive, nothing negative. Don't overpost. I know some people who will put 15 posts on a day, every day on each platform. And I think, oh my gosh, you know what I think? I always wonder, are they actually doing any business because they're so busy posting? That concerns me. The other thing I think is to use social media wisely. So we all need to create networks, and networking isn't just about a one-hit wonder. I meet somebody and I say, I'll call you, and I never do. That's pointless. I think the important thing about networking is we connect with our clients, we connect with key people. And Mike, last year I did a course where we spoke about, I learned something really exciting about identifying 25 key influencers, identifying those people and saying, you know what, I'm going to connect with these people. They're going to be part of my core network team. So imagine now I'm sitting there, and my strategy on a Sunday night is to plan my week and to say, who in my core 25 influencer list, these are top clients, key individuals, highly networked people, who can I help this week? So that's when the 5-minute favors come in. So for instance, you are in my network and I see you advertise an event, and then what I'll do is make a comment going, this is going to be a power event. I really recommend business owners attend. Or it could be a case of sharing your post on mine. Now imagine you're doing that every single day. A lot of us are seeing social media as what can I get? But I think social media and networking combined is how can I help? What can I give? So one of my strategies every single week is how can I use Pinterest or Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook to comment? Remember, it's not about the likes on our pages. It's about the comments. So how can I do somebody a favor in my network and comment positively on their post? How can I share their post? And what kind of great material can I use that's going to be of value to the people that are my target audience? And remember, you're trying to still keep that golden thread growing. Even if something's funny or amusing, it's still part of your brand. Does it still highlight my brand, or is it creating dissonance where people are going, that seems odd? So I think, for me, the important thing is that we want to do social media posts. We want to use it to our advantage, but and it's a free resource. So I think we need to systematically do posts I know a lot of people who say, oh, it takes me an hour to do a post. I think they're overthinking it. I'm not sure why it takes them an hour, but just make sure there's no spelling mistakes, grammatically correct, and it's positive, it's informative, and it's adding value to the world. And I think my last point really is just about networking. In South Africa, they've worked out this, your success in business is related to the size of your network, but you need to work the network every single day. And so it's about intentionally meeting people, connecting with people, and adding value to people wherever you can. Find any opportunity to get a stage. Like I've chatting to you today. If you're a speaker, offer to speak. If you're a writer, write blogs. If you're great on camera, do some videos. I think a lot of people are still trying to wait for exhibitions to come back, for networking events to come back to person. And as I said, hoping and waiting are not strategies that are going to win you success. I think what we need to do is that dreaded word pivot, adapting, adjusting, and using all the little tools we have at our disposal. Now, some of you are thinking, well, social media is not going to work. But let me tell you, if you're running around adding value, doing the lumpy mail, making those customer care calls, sending emails once a month that are of value, connecting with your clients, offering added value, thanking the referrers, and you're doing those 10 things every single week, believe me, in a year, you'll look back and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much has happened. And I find that the problem is confidence. A lot of people are so scared to do these things, and reluctance. And then we buy our own excuses. We go, you know what, it's tough out there. It's Friday. I'm not feeling it. And I think that's, if I could leave with one last statement, successful people do the things that unsuccessful people don't do. It's that simple. It's about doing those activities. And if you think I'm doing enough, add another note. Whatever you think you're doing, try more. Because a lot of the times, the response rates are 1% or 2%, but it doesn't mean that there's no business. It just means we have to try a little bit harder, and we have to be a little bit more persistent than our competitors.
Cindy, that, as always, was super insightful, value-driven, and highly enjoyable. Thank you so much for your time. We at the NSBC are truly grateful for your input. I know you've made a difference this morning to many, and to everybody out there, follow Cindy. She does this every day, and she inspires and provides incredible value. So please follow her. And again, Cindy, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mark.